guys, it's your Island Girl and I'm back with another one for you today. And today I'm checking out the Beamish Museum. So the Living Museum of the North. So we're going to check this one out. Now, I don't know what a living museum is, so this should be interesting. It says it is an open air UK attraction and it's in Northeast England. All right, so let's get into this one. So if you're new to my channel, it's the first time here, come on in, right back, put a smile on your face, and enjoy. To all my regular, schmegler, day one, sweetie pie, sweetie poos, come on in, right back, put a smile on your face, and enjoy. Let's get into this one, because I'm excited to learn and find out something new today about this wonderful place that I fell in love with. Here we go now.
Today we're going to go back in time at Beamish, the Living Museum of the North.
Okay.
Inspired by Scandinavian folk museums, Beamish is a very popular, interactive, open-air museum in County Durham. Here you'll discover what life was like in the northeast of England during the Georgian, Edwardian and Victorian times.
Okay.
This video will show you how we spent an unforgettable day at Beamish to give you an idea of what you could see and do on your trip. We'll wrap up the video by sharing relevant practical information, tips and anything you may want to be aware of before your visit.
Okay.
Our day started with the newly opened 1950s Front Street Terrace. There wasn't a huge amount to see here just yet, as it is still a work in progress.
Okay.
However, there was a cafe complete to the jukebox playing 50s music, Elizabeth's Hairdressers based on a shop in Middlesbrough where you can get a 1950s hairstyle.
So hold on. You have the jukebox. You have salon where you can get the 1950s hairstyle. This is pretty cool. I like what I'm seeing so far. You know what? To just relive those days, just to be in that time and relive those days, it gotta be amazing. Just to have the experience. You know what I mean?
And a replica of the home of recognised artist Norman Cornish.
Okay.
We also popped by the Welfare Hall and Community Centre, but there was a learning activity going on with the school trip, so we didn't film inside.
Okay.
However, we did get some clips of these fun old school advertising signs lining the fence outside. Right by the 1950s front terrace is the 1900s town, where you can walk up the high streets lined with shops and houses and find out what life had been like in the years running up to the First World War.
What?
You might also recognise this area if you're a Downton Abbey fan, as it featured in the movie and the final episode of the TV show. Or so I've read. I've not seen the show, sorry.
Neither.
Take your time exploring the 1900s town, as it has to be one of the highlights of a trip to Beamish. Visit the homes of Ravensworth Terrace and stop in the numerous traditional shops that line the streets. Visit the chemist shop, which was named after the real-life chemist William Smith, who worked in Durham. Explore the photographers, where ordinarily you can have your photo taken in period costume, although this is on hold at the moment.
Ooh, can you imagine me dressing up in costume and get me my pictures taken? I tell you guys, there's so many things that you can experience in this world, and if you don't see videos like these, you wouldn't know and appreciate these stuff when you see it, you know, or try it. Wow.
Learn more about the Freemasons in the Masonic Hall, visit the bank and even go down to see the vaults, rats and all. Pop into the early 1900s garage to check out the collection of vehicles. I don't think you have to be a car enthusiast to enjoy looking at all the vintage cars on display.
Not at all.
If you're feeling a bit peckish, then let your nose guide you into the incredible smelling bakery offering traditional, freshly baked goods. If you don't actually want to buy anything, you can still pop in and take a look. There's also a sweet shop where the walls are lined with jars of old-fashioned sweets. You can even watch them being made in the back of the store. After spending a lot longer than we expected in the 1900s town, we toured.
Look, my mouth is watering. My mouth is watering when she talk about the bakery and all them treats, then to turn to the candy. And how cool is it? You can literally go to the back of the sweet shop and see how the sweets are being made. You can't get that here. Ain't happening. Ain't nobody making filming editing. That's amazing. I think that's unique and cute.
In the 1900s town, we tore ourselves away and hopped aboard one of the trams. Sitting on the top floor gave us a view over the extensive museum land. It really is a big place, and as much as we like walking, it was definitely an enjoyable way to get around. We exited the tram at the 1900s Pitts Village, home to mining families in the northeast of England. Our first stop was the century-old Hetton Silver Band Hall. After the Colliery Band was founded in 1887, the original band hall was built for them in 1912. After falling into disuse, former band members donated the building to Beamish. In the Pitts Village, you can walk through the original miners' cottages on Francis Street. These homes were brought to Beamish from Hetton Hall after originally being built in the 1860s by the Hetton Coal Company. The costumed villagers getting on with the day inside made it feel so much more real. It did actually feel a little bit like we were breaking into somebody's home.
This is so cool, guys. I ain't gonna lie, this is fascinating.
Just across from the miners' cottages is the 1850s Pitt Hill Methodist Chapel, where Sunday school would have been held. Next to the chapel stands the school, where you can walk around a classroom of tiny desks, way too small for us to sit in, and play old-fashioned games in the yard. For lunch we stopped at Davy's Fried Fish Shop, where they serve traditional fish and chips actually cooked in coal fire ranges. They were absolutely delicious.
Oh, here we go again. Listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie. You guys are famous, like famous. I'm looking at the fish and chips in the box and I'm like, yes, baby, I want to taste it. You guys are famous, famous. That's what I hear you guys talk about a lot. Especially some of my regular schmeglers keep talking about the fish and chips. When I get there to the UK, I have to try it. And not only that, he said it's not fried, dip in a fry. It's go into an. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool? To me, the scenery, it is still beautiful. It's not run down. It looks amazing to me. It still look 1900s. Come on, and looks this amazing. That's awesome.
After lunch we visited the colliery yard. At the peak of coal production in 1913, over 165,000 men and boys worked in Durham's grueling mines. We started at the engine shed where we watched coal being shovelled into the engine of one of the colliery locomotives, firing it up. A staff member told us they had to do this slowly as the engine had been cold for a while and if it heated up too quickly it would damage it. From here we went into the wooden Heapstead building. It was right here that workers were lowered into the mine and coal was brought back up to the surface. The lift cages were raised and lowered using the winding engine which you can see in the adjacent stone building. You could actually take a guided tour down into the drift mine. Sadly we didn't have time to squeeze this in on our visit, which is a shame because it sounds like it would be such an interesting experience. If you've been down the drift mine at Beamish, we'd love to hear about it. We left the colliery and went even further back in time to the Georgian period of the...
Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this view. 1820s. The 1820s?
The 1820s. Walking by the cow pasture we came to a tiny heather-thatched cottage which is actually a recreation of the home of Joseph Headley, an acclaimed Georgian quilter who was murdered in 1826.
Oh.
Just past the cottage is the medieval church of St Helen which was originally built in Eston. After suffering from decades of vandalism, the church was dismantled and then rebuilt in Beamish brick by brick.
Wow.
Keep your eyes peeled and you might see numbers on the wall. As part of the deconstruction, all the bricks were carefully numbered so the church could then be rebuilt exactly as it had been. Up the hill was the beautifully restored Pockley Old Hall, which would have been let to the tenant farmers who cared for the land. This is one of the original buildings found at the site of the Beamish Museum. In front of the house is the ornamental garden, which will probably look much better if you aren't visiting in winter like we did.
Wow.
In the house you'll walk through rooms like a smoky working kitchen, complete with a cast iron range and brick bread oven. Downstairs you can also see the dining room, the pantry, and the scullery, which would have been used for washing dishes and doing other domestic chores. Upstairs you'll find the bed.
It's crazy that when you stop and go through history, it's like when you go through it, like the Living Museum, like she's showing it, it's like you was there. You can you're experiencing that life. That's how it seems to me. That's how cool it is. Then now to have that experience, to relive it, it's right there. Then can you imagine numbering each piece of brick so you make sure you put it back in the exact spot that it was? Can you imagine walking and seeing the pantry, how it was? just going through and looking at how, look, the first building that was there, just having the experience, it has to have an amazing feel. And that garden, oh, that garden. And can you imagine if it looks like that in the winter, what does it look like in the summertime or in the spring? Wow. I'm just fascinated.
Upstairs you'll find the bedrooms. You'll also see a room where grain was stored and joints of meat were hung, ready to be smoked.
What?
As time was ticking on, we hot-footed it to the 1940s farm area where you can see what farm life was like during the Second World War. Unfortunately, during our visit, the farmhouse was closed due to storm damage, but the cottage was still open. At this point, it was museum closing time. Even though we were there from open until close, we didn't manage to see everything at Beamish, but I do think we managed to squeeze a lot in. If you are looking to visit yourself, then stick around while I share some useful information and tips for your trip. Beamish is located in the beautiful countryside of County Durham. If you're driving, set the directions to DH90RG. Parking at the museum is free and there seems to be plenty of space. Beamish is accessible by the number 28 bus from Newcastle City Centre or the 8 from Sunderland Interchange. Alternatively, Chester Street is the nearest train station, so if you can get a train to here, you can then catch a bus on to Beamish. Currently, if you would like to arrive in the morning, then you do need to book your entry slot ahead of time, but if you want to arrive from 1 PM onwards, then you can just show up. Because there is a lot to do, I would suggest booking one of the earlier slots and spending the full day there. Tickets are £19.50 per adult, £11.50 per child, and student or senior tickets are £14.50. There are also family ticket options available. This ticket then does get you unlimited access to the museum for a full year, including daytime events.
Hold on. You're telling me 1914 and that amount of money give you access for a whole year? Not in America. You buy one ticket to that museum, it expires that day. No. And that cheap? That is amazing. I love how she's giving the detail, which bus we're to take where, and telling you exactly where it Beamish is located. I like that. And wow, that pricing, like I said.
But not evening events. Special events are held throughout the year, so check the Beamish website to see what's coming up. Okay, next point. Beamish is huge. While I think you could pop into each area in the space of a day, there is simply too much there to explore every corner and take in every detail, and they're continuing to expand the museum, so really, if you live close enough to the museum, then you'll probably want to make the most of that unlimited annual access with your tickets. I would suggest having an idea of anything you and your family definitely want to see and prioritising that before you get too distracted by all of the other things there are to see there. If there isn't anything in particular that you already know that you want to prioritise, then I would suggest focusing on the 1900s town and the 1900s pit village and colliery. My advice would be to start in the 1900s town so you can visit the shops with lower crowds and shorter queues. In the spirit of not rushing to fit everything in, I'd also say take the time to talk to the staff. They are all very welcoming and share lots of information on the history of their area. I learned about things that were completely new to me. For example, a staff member in a store of the 1900s town explained the use of a cash ball that rolled along a slope track on the ceiling to carry money between the sales desk and the cash office. Given that the museum is so big, let's talk about getting around. You can walk the grounds and there are signs telling you the distance to walk between the different areas. Even if you are happy walking, I would suggest still having a ride on the tram at least once, as it's free and it is an experience in itself. If you do want fish and chips, then we found that there was a long wait. This may ease once the fish and chip shop at the 1950s front terrace is up and running, but in our experience, waiting for food did eat into valuable exploring time, so I would suggest bringing some food with you in case queues are huge.
Can you imagine that line that she showed a while ago for the fish and chips? I'm like, no, I get it. I honestly get it, guys, that it is amazing. My mouth is just watering. But I'm not gonna lie, this is just to have the experience of being there and relaxing and taking it all in and feel like you were in that moment. To me, it's a beautiful thing.
In an ideal world, you would save your visit for a good weather day, but we can't let the potential of a bit of rain stop us from day trips, or we'd probably never go anywhere. Do make sure you bring waterproofs and an umbrella though, just in case, as in many areas there will be little shelter from the elements. Well-behaved dogs are allowed around the museum if they're kept on a lead, but do know that unless they are an assistance dog, then they are not allowed into all of the buildings and exhibits. If you've been to Beamish and have any tips that we missed, then do share them in the comments. If you're looking for other activities in County Durham, then we do
love it, love it, love it, love it. Like I said, when I started watching this video, I did not know what a living museum is. So now I know exactly what it is and what it is all about. But guys, I'm not gonna lie, the place is beautiful. And the history, it to me, everything is well kept, because just showing the money ball rolling, the beds, the old cars, you know, the set up buildings, and how they refurbish some of them, and it looks just the same. And to me, it is beautiful in my eyes. It's still beautiful. It's crazy how a lot of things, like I always say, a lot of people take it for granted. But I would definitely visit. Me and the kiddos will definitely enjoy something like this. For real. That was fascinating. I ain't gonna lie. It's a fascination for me. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Don't forget to go in the comment section. Tell me what you'd like me to react to next, because it will be done. Smack the like button. Just slap it out the park. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. What else? Wrap back, relax. Yes, fish and chips. Also, guys, there's a PO box in the description. If you'd like to send anything my way, the PO box is linked in the description below. You can find it there. Anything else? That's it. Love you guys, and I'll catch you guys in another video.